If I were starting over or I somehow lost every journaling supply I have, where would I start when it came to rebuilding my stash? If you're just starting creative journaling, it can be super overwhelming to start thinking about supplies. There's a ton of stuff out there, and it can be really easy to get sucked into that mentality of thinking that you have to have all the things, which obviously isn't true. But I do think that there are some things that can open up a lot of doors in terms of what you can do. So if you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to start, or maybe you have a bigger stash and you'd like to simplify that a little bit, this video is for you. I'm going to talk about what I would buy if I were starting over, and also talk a little bit about where I'd go next after taking care of the basics. So let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, obviously you need scissors. You kind of can't really do much without scissors. So I've stocked up on like 5 pairs of these just basic whisker scissors. They're good. I lose them a lot, so they're cheap. Easy to replace, easy to find, blah, blah, blah. So scissors, adhesive. There are several different types of adhesive that you can use. Glue stick, I use the Uhu glue stick. Pritt stick is another good one. They stick well, they're strong, things don't come up off the page after I've put them down. I like that. Tape runner, I use the Tombow permanent tape runners. It comes with this little applicator piece, and then you buy refills of this piece, and they fit together, and all you have to do is just zip, and you have adhesive down on your paper. This does not work super well with all surfaces, so like something like a slick surface, a packaging wrapper of some kind, I reach for my glue stick instead because this won't hold it down. This is just incredibly convenient, so I use that a lot. This is just another tape runner that I don't even know where it came from, but it's here. Then a double-sided tape I also use a ton. This red line tape is stickier than some of the other ones that I've used. This is really great for making like pockets or holding down, again, things that just need a little bit stronger of an adhesive. So those are good recommendations there. The next thing that I personally would buy, and this has a lot to do with how I junk journal, I focus a lot on memory keeping. So I would invest in a good photo printer. I use photos all the time. Almost every page has photos on it. I couldn't do this without photos. That doesn't mean that this would apply to everyone, but depending on your approach, a photo printer would be the first thing that I'd recommend. So I use a Canon Selfie. This is not the newest model, but it's not ancient, I don't think. It's very convenient. It's very easy to use. I can print wirelessly from my phone. It has a little tray that sits here and you put the photo paper in that. It's not an ink. It has like a cartridge here. I'm not really up on the technology on it, but it's not an ink-based photo, so you don't have to wait for it to dry or anything after it's printed. I really like this. I also have an Instax Mini Link printer. So this also I can print wirelessly from my phone, but it prints out in the little Instax Polaroid format. So that's just something that's just kind of fun and different to do. I really like those. So photo printer. After that, I think the next, like most basic thing you're gonna want are some pretty fun papers. There's all kinds of things that you can use for this though. So obviously there's scrapbook paper. This is a scrapbook paper from Nanny Craft Shop on Etsy. I think she also has a website. So this is like an indie creator who made this instead of, if you don't want to go to like a Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something to buy scrapbook paper, or scrapbook.com. I've also used magazine papers. A lot of the times, depending on the magazine, there's just really pretty things in them. This is from like Better Homes and Gardens. This is from an art magazine. And there's just lots of pretty patterns. You can use that all the time. This is like a painted book page. So you can create your own backgrounds. You could also use like markers, paints, all kinds of stuff and do your own. This is from a vintage yearbook. So don't think just scrapbook paper when you're thinking about backgrounds and stuff. There's all kinds of things And if you get a little creative, anything can be a background. After that, I would recommend going for labels. This is my box of labels, and there are a ton of them in here. And these are just very, very easy to use in terms of, one, decoration takes up space. Two, it can limit the amount of journaling that you have to do by giving you a space to fill instead of a whole page. You can use them to annotate things, to just point out what things are, label them. They're just super convenient, and I really like using them. So I would stock up on labels. Then washi tapes. These are just really fun to use. They also are very pretty, very decorative. You can use them for making fold-outs and flip-ups and functional things too. So they're very, very versatile. Love washi tapes. My favorite brands are MT. I don't know if you can see on the inside there. It's very strong. It doesn't come up. It can hold a lot. It's a very good functional tape as well as decorative. I think these are from just like Amazon. So you can get washi tape lots of different places, but I highly recommend investing in a couple that you like. Then, this one might be a little weird, but get a stapler. I actually have two. So this is just a regular stapler, and then this is the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. So they're mini staples. They're about maybe half as wide, maybe a little bit wider than that as a regular stapler. So sometimes this can get into places that the big one can't. Not necessary to have two, but get a stapler just because it can reinforce the adhesive you have. Sometimes it's a visual thing. I like the way having a staple on a page looks. There's lots of different reasons, but I use these more than you would think, I guess. So if you're talking about restocking on basics, a stapler is a must-have for me. Okay, so that would be like the basic things that I would say that you would want to get. After that, there's a lot of different places you could go depending on what your style is. For me, stickers would be the next thing that I would recommend doing. So I'm working on reorganizing my stickers right now, but these are like filler decorative stickers, stars, hearts, basic things like that. You can just use them anywhere to make a page look prettier, to fill in some space, do whatever you want, just add a little bit of embellishment. Highly versatile. I also really like these tiny word stickers. They're just little phrases and things that you can use on photos, or again, to fill space, just add a little bit of pizzazz without having to like create that yourself. Love that. Alphabet stickers. This is the Ransom Note sticker book. I'm sure you've seen it around. Has lots of letter stickers that look like they've been cut out of a magazine. Super fun to use. I love the way it looks. Puffy stickers. Be careful with puffy stickers just because they add dimensions, so make sure that you have the room to grow in your book, but I love them. Yeah, there's just so much can be done with just stickers that they're worth buying. So definitely stickers next. Alphabets. You can use alphabet stamps for letters. You can hand letter things. You could use a label maker, but anything that you can use to create titles, just phrases, words on a page, invest in that too, because that's just really fun. You can make it say whatever you want, so it's versatile. You can reuse it again and again. Definitely go there. Next, envelopes. I don't think I grabbed any from my stash, but envelopes are really fun. They're really easy. You can get them anywhere. Save your trash. Save your junk mail envelopes, things that you get gifts in, any of that. Reuse that. You don't have to go out and buy envelopes. Just start saving what you already have. You'd be surprised what comes across your desk once you just start looking for it. You can hide journaling in them. You can put photos in them. Oh, here's one. There's our visual. You can do all kinds of stuff with them. They can fold out, flip up. You can tuck them envelopes in envelopes. Just a lot of different interactive elements can be created with envelopes. So definitely keep an eye out for those. After that, I really like using flashcards. I like words, so Illustrated flashcards especially are really great. I'm sorry if you can hear my father-in-law mowing outside. I didn't know he was doing that. So anyway, if you come across flashcards, you can also make your own with a printer. I like printing on a manila envelope, like a file folder envelope, and cutting those out because they give it that kind of vintagey look, but with just you and your printer, so that's really fun. You can cut these up, you can use them to cover things up, fold out, flip up. There's a million different ways you can use them. You're only limited by you, so I really like those. And then I also really like illustrations, especially from children's books. This is a children's dictionary with illustrations. The words are all illustrated with little pictures. I just really like the way that children's illustrations look, vintage ones. So just keep an eye out in like the thrift stores or in the books that you like and figure out what kind of visual elements you like and start collecting that, because that can go a long way in terms of, you know, adding a little something special and unique to your journal. So those are the things that I would start with if I was completely restocking my stash. After that, the sky's the limit. There is a lot that you can add to your journal, and that's just entirely up to you. You can also keep it pretty simple and still have it be very fun and very unique. And just think outside the box. One of the things I've recently added to my stash were these granny square cards. So this comes from a set of crochet instruction cards that teach you how to make each of these granny squares. So the granny square that you're making is illustrated on one side and then the instructions are on the other side. I don't know how to crochet. I don't know how to knit. I just thought these looked cool, so I picked these up to use in my journal. So just keep an open mind and pay attention to your surroundings, and there's a ton of stuff that you can find and use. Oh, another thing would be ribbon. Let me see if I have any around here. Yeah. So like just little ribbon scraps, fabric scraps. You can do all kinds of stuff with this just from gluing it down. You can make little tags, pockets, all sorts of stuff. It's just really fun after a while to start kind of challenging yourself to figure out how to use certain things. So again, keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, and think outside the box, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. All right, I hope that this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon for the next one. Bye.